obviously followed this whole situation very closely.
Oh, my God.
What is your expectations for Shedeur this weekend?
So I think for me, I still look at it as I want to see him look like he has commanded the offense. I want to see him confident in the pocket, escaping pressure. I want to see him being able to work within the pocket, climb the pocket, and then sort of move around and make the plays that we're used to seeing Shedeur make. I feel like when I look at Shedeur, I don't see him as the X factor for this Browns team because they're wide receiving core. Like, it's just addition. This is not about just the Browns. This is about 32 organizations passed over 4 rounds, almost 5, and now you have an opportunity over the final 6 games, if they give you that long of a stretch, to show that, you know what, I'm not a 5th-round pick. I should have been a 1st-round pick or a 2nd-round pick, and I deserve to be a starter in the NFL. I just want to see continued growth. I'm not looking for heroics. I think the conversation about him it's just become too divisive. Just let the kid, he's a rookie, let him sort of gradually get his feet under him a little bit.
He played okay on Sunday. I mean, he made a couple good throws, but that defense won the game. I mean, they had 10 sacks. And Garrett had 3 or 4 sacks by himself.
He had 3. They had 10 together.
They destroyed. That was what the game was about. But, I like a couple of nice throws. Judy had a bad fumble after a nice reception, so that could have resulted in some points.
Couple nice throws.
Well, he had the
Isaiah Bond, that was a beauty. That was more than a nice throw.
But he also threw a sideline screen that should have been picked off.
I don't think it was advantageous for any of their rookie quarterbacks. So I thought, given the situation, he performed well. But you can't expect him to just win the game, take over and win the game in the second term.
I thought he played okay. I'm not ready to say that he's the answer long term.
Yeah,
Let's see what he does in the next 5 games.
Expectations, Steve?
I want him to look like an NFL quarterback, period. I want him to look like somebody that shows that he belongs, that he can command an offense, that he belongs behind center, and we don't have to worry about Kevin Stefanski coming up post-game and being undecided about who his quarterback should be the following Sunday when the alternative is Dylan Gabriel. Need to stop that nonsense. I need that conversation to be put to bed once and for all. We can't possibly do that if your opponent is the Las Vegas Raiders, because we know how awful they are. It's just that simple. Now you're going up against a real team in the San Francisco 49ers that despite Bosa and Warner being gone for the season, still has a formidable enough defense and obviously exceptional coaching to do some things. And Robert Saleh, he might have had his issues as head coach for the New York Jets, but 2 things. Number 1, we see what the Jets have looked like without him. And number 2, we know that man can coach some defense. And so what's going to be dialed up, packaged up for Shedeur Sanders is going to be significantly different than what we saw this past weekend. Shedeur Sanders goes out there. Let's say, for example, he looks the same this week as he looked last week. Then we're going to be speaking highly of him because we're going to know he's given us the impression that he belongs in this league.
Yes, and obviously he'll get another week of practice under his belt as well. He'll be able to work out with the ones one more week as well, so he should have some improvement on that front.
Welcome back to First Take. The race for the AFC North is going to come down to a pivotal Thanksgiving night matchup between Lamar Jackson and the Ravens against the newly healthy Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Lamar has been dealing with some injuries himself, missing practice earlier this week, but he is set to play on Thursday. Unfortunately for Lamar, I can't even keep up with all the injuries. We got a new one, different body part every single week, like a game of operation. Peter, are the Ravens legit Super Bowl contenders at this point? At this point, no. If they win on Thursday, I'm willing to put them in the conversation. Consider this. They were 1-5 when they played the Bears a few weeks ago. They won that game with Snoop Huntley. They have won 5 straight games and they haven't looked good doing it. We haven't even seen them scratch the surface of what we hope they can be. And they still found a way to win 5 games. They're 6-5. They're in first place in the AFC North. They're expected to be in the playoffs. In their schedule coming up, they still have the Bengals twice and the Steelers twice. Then you go from there and you also have New England Green Bay. If you're telling me that this team can go ahead and run this table, that would mean they had won 5 straight, add in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 straight games going into the playoffs. And we haven't even seen them play Ravens football yet. You know, John Harbaugh has a famous saying, says, "It's not pretty. It's not perfect. It's us." Well, it hasn't been pretty. It has been far from perfect. And yet, they're stacking the wins. They have a tough competition this weekend. They play on Thursday night against Joe Burrow and this Bengals team. They start rattling off these wins. I've covered the 07 Giants. I've covered the 2010 Packers where they don't look good up until Thanksgiving and then suddenly it's like, wait a second, they're finally healthy. They've gotten it going and now they've got a little momentum going. Are they not Super Bowl contenders right now? They don't belong in the same conversation as the Rams, or even some of these other teams in the AFC. You win on Thursday night, that's 6 straight wins. Lamar gets another one under his belt, gets a little healthy with a long retch. I would say maybe, just maybe, this might be one of those hot teams. I got to see a lot more than beating the Cincinnati Bengals who are 3-8 and are awful. And even if Burrow does come back, their offense has not been a problem. Their defense is terrible. So beating the Bengals on Thursday to me won't mean a lot. Listen, they beat the Bears. They've beaten the Dolphins, Minnesota, Cleveland, and the Jets in the last 5 weeks for this 5-game winning streak. They were in trouble to the Jets. They trail in the 3rd quarter. The Browns could have won for crying out loud. So when you think about it, I just have not been nearly as impressed as you think you would be with a 5-game winning streak. Here's the issue to me. Lamar's whatever it is, as Shay said during the break, whether it's ankle, hamstring, he's not 100, he missed 4, 5, he missed 3, for games, he's not 100%. And if you are not 100% and he can't run that dual threat because he is an incredible runner, he's not running and he can't do that. That makes him half the quarterback that he would normally be and they're not winning any Super Bowl unless he's at 100% and he can run. Well, I definitely believe that they don't have a shot if he's not 100% and he can run. He said that even though he's missed a few games this year because of the toe injury, he said that somebody fell on him during the Jets game and that's what was ailing him, but he's feeling all right now. We'll know what the truth is based on his performance in the weeks to come. It really comes down to his health. I believe if he's healthy, they're a Super Bowl threat. They win the AFC North, and once they win the AFC North, you got an entirely new season. And when you talk about their defense being awful, the defense has not been awful over the last few weeks. It started out awful over the first 6, 7 weeks, giving up over 35 points a game. They were horrible, but they've been significantly better ever since, doggy. And so I look at it from that standpoint and I look at the weapons that they still have and I look at the potential that these dudes in a one-odd-one situation, they can answer the call against anybody. And this is an interesting thing that I would throw out there, Peter, and Shay as well. Usually there's a whole bunch of expectations heaped on the shoulders of the Baltimore Ravens. They'd be playing with house money to some degree. This year, it would be a little bit different to start out 1-5 to be considered dead and gone for people to be booing them for John Harbaugh's future in Baltimore to 2 to be 2-2 to be being talked about. All of those things are happening. And then to go from that to winning 5 straight and being tied with the Steelers for first take in the AFC North, I think is incredibly significant. And I think that to turn that around and to find yourself in that situation where you all of a sudden get to the playoffs after a 1-5 start considering how the Colts have looked, how the Patriots have looked, Jacksonville to a lesser degree, definitely Denver, the Chargers to a lesser degree, the Chiefs still being in the mix, etc. for Baltimore to find themselves in a playoff scenario, it could be very interesting because I don't think that we'll be talking about them the way that we did in the past with those expectations, and it would be interesting to see how they perform under those different circumstances. Good news is Lamar Jackson 21-7 in primetime games. He's very good against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Bad news is they're 1-2 so far this season. One of the more anticipated matchups on Thanksgiving Day is when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs head to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Both teams counting their blessings because a path to the playoffs still exists with the Chiefs entering Thanksgiving. 8% chance to win the Super Bowl. Still, according to our analytics, that's 4th highest percentage of any other team. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have just an 8% chance to, but that is for them to make the playoffs. So, exact same Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, Cowboys just to simply make the playoffs. Kmart's with us now. Kimberly Martin is here. And so, which is more likely? The Chiefs winning the Super Bowl or just the Cowboys making it into the dance? This is tough, but I'm going to say Cowboys making it into the dance because I think part of it for me, the calculus is the Cowboy, the Eagles, and I thought the Eagles would run away with that division, and instead, yes, their record is good, but I don't have the same level of confidence in them. Whereas the Cowboys, when you check in on Dallas, like I had a coach tell me that 21-point deficit that they had against Philly, they came back and Schottenheimer literally was like instilling the confidence in them, saying everybody believed we can come back one play at a time, 21 points. The old Cowboys, I feel like that would have been it. They would have completely imploded. And instead their new head coach has them in a position of we can beat anybody. With the Chiefs I don't know, they still have Patrick Mahomes, but it just looks so hard. And when I like their offense, everything just seems really hard. Patrick is not playing as well as he had been. And you look at Dak Prescott, him and Matthew Stafford,